So this is kind of our last chance to do a spring garden tour. The sun came out for a minute. It's been off and on, pouring buckets. We're under tornado watch. We're in Bartlesville, Oklahoma, and which is zone 6B, right? Okay, yeah. And so we're just going to show you the whole garden. This is the end of spring for us. We've already harvested a lot of stuff for farmers market and just to eat ourselves, and so we're kind of this is the tail end of spring. We have a very short spring, and it just gets hot and humid really quick. So anyways, we'll show you what we got, and then in a couple of months show you what we've got for summer, okay? So come this way. We've got our ducks, Starla and Daisy, that just have to make the rounds with us. We use them for slug and snail patrol. That's why we have these little fences put up in between all our annual no-dig beds. And so we practice permaculture, which means that we're following the principles in line with that as best we can, which it's a lot, but to simplify it, we're working with nature instead of against it, and we're not adding anything that's artificial or chemical kind of fertilizers or pesticides. And my husband really likes to use the Charles Dowding no-dig method for the annual beds. We started with the Back to Eden method as far as laying down mulch, and we love it for food forests and for especially marginal space, and to sink water and like just retain that moisture, especially in the hot summer. But it is very hard when you're trying to grow a lot of annuals to have to constantly move back the mulch and to direct seed in it. So we're trying to strike this balance of kind of Back to Eden mulch method and the no dig beds. So which is just layering. We layer cardboard and mulch in the pathways and compost in the spots we're planting. Okay, so hi girls. We just, in one of our last night, we have lights that are strung up everywhere, so one of those broke. This is reality with we use recycled stuff in gardening, and things aren't always pretty, but they are productive, and that's what matters to us. We all have different priorities. So we had some lights go down, but they'll get fixed back here as soon as there's a dry spell over the weekend. But these are elderberries. They're 3 years old? Yeah, 3 years old. 2 different varieties. We get massive elderberries out of them. We love the birds that they bring in. We don't cover them. We just share, and there's more than enough. So I'm able to dry the elderberries, and then we also make a tincture out of it, which we really like, using the tincture instead of the syrup to add to tea. It's just not as intense, but it's like, as far as taste, but it's more potent. And we also made elderflower liquor with the flowers, and just a really amazing plant. But it loves the wetness that's in this corner, and then underneath it we actually have put mushroom spores, wine cap, and stuff and the elderberry just like keeps spreading. So we're starting to dig up roots now to be able to share and stuff. So yeah, we hacked it way back. It's like trying to reach the lines. Oh, and there's a monarch, look. Oh. Anyways, okay, so elderberry, mushrooms. This is our berry wall, permaculture principle using marginal space. So this ugly fence that we can't remove we use as a trellis, and so we've tied up raspberries and blackberries to it, and just to keep them high enough so the ducks don't eat them all, because they will, but we still want to give them as much access as possible. So they take the lower part, we take the upper part, and we're really excited that they're blooming, and we're going to get lots of berries this year. This is our pea trellis, and like I said, we're at the end, so it's pretty crazy. I actually found a nest in there. The other Titus did. He found a nest in the pea trellis. How cute. Oh. But these are shelling peas, so we'll have some of those at market, and just something that's really easy to preserve, to freeze and to have all year of our own, and knowing where it came from. So we have harvested tons of salad out of here, and we companion plant everything. So it's at the end. This is going to get cut where we leave the roots in the ground for worms and all the good microbes to eat. And then we'll plant radishes here. And when the peas are done, we're going to put our squash here. So we do a lot of vertical gardening as well, because we're only on a 13th of an acre. And it's like totally normal little cul-de-sac neighborhood in town. So we're trying to maximize our space. These are beets. Again, we use the Charles Dowding no-dig beds are on the side and then mulch in the path. Something interesting is we had to buy compost this year because we needed more. So this side is the compost we bought, and we've obviously harvested a lot out of here already. And on this side is the compost that we made. And this side was just so much better. It was just amazing. So the less compost that we have to order out, like obviously ours, it's better right here and it's free. But the chickens can only turn and we can only make so much in our space. But what is ours, we were like impressed to see the health and vitality in it. Anyways, so we do the multi-sow method with our beets, radishes, any of that stuff. And that's basically in a cell, you put like 5 or 6 seeds, and then when you transplant them, you transplant all of those together, and then as they get bigger and you start to harvest, you just pull out the biggest one. So the hubby's been harvesting from this the last 4 or 5 weeks, just pulling one out of each little cell original thing to take to harvest. And we have 4 different kinds, and they're so healthy. Like, they're just really beautiful. I don't know, we've been enjoying it. Carrots, again, we have a very short spring, so unfortunately the carrots kind of bolt really easily. So we'll be harvesting these, and these are all cherry tomatoes, and yeah, all different kinds of cherry tomatoes, and they'll go up the trellis and it'll be so crazy. So the carrots are here, and it's just mixed ones. We let the kids just throw out this seed. And we've been harvesting a few here and there, especially as they've been bolting, but I'm going to make carrot cake this weekend for market, and we'll use them. I mean, they don't have huge roots on them, but we'll use them, and then we're going to plant some more radishes here, I think. Here we have gooseberries, which is a first for us, so we're really excited about those. I haven't seen them here. Some Okies have told me that they do grow here, and I've never even had them before, so this will be really exciting to make a gooseberry pie or whatever. It's nice because they actually have these little thorns, so the ducks, like we have a perimeter here, but the ducks really don't go for them because of the thorns. So fig, this is a Chicago hardy fig. What it does is it dies back every year because we have pretty cold winters and had a really big freeze even in our early spring. So it came back and lived through it. Last year we got 1 small fruit, so we're excited to see what happens this year. This is our goji berry, and it is crazy. It sends out runners, and so we have tons of starts of this, and it has little thorns on it, but it produces these small little red, almost teardrop looking berries, and raw they taste like rotten tomatoes. The kids like them, but we like to dry them and add them to granola and tea. So in here, this is a mix of mostly perennials, but with some annual flower seeds thrown in, and it's like a mini food forest. So we have 2 apple trees, pear tree, grapevines that we actually just planted this year. They came from a friend's yard. Thank you, Tamika. And then there's hollyhock that's coming up. Asparagus, this is the asparagus' first year, so we're letting it do its thing, but it's doing awesome. I threw lots of zinnias in here. We have return yarrow, comfrey as a nitrogen fixer. There's tiger lily bulbs all along the edge. We have We have feverfew coming up, and that's all calendula. And here, let's go that way. Oh, okay, so we're gonna try to hurry because another little cell of the weather is coming through. So calendula. This is yarrow that's leaning over here. These are poppies. There is amaranth in there. Oh, this is a wall of blueberries that's been very productive. Underneath we have cranberry. So cranberry, cover crop for the ground, and blueberries on top. Sorry, I'm kind of speeding through here, but we have loofah. There's also marigolds in here and sunflowers that are on kind of the edge of every single bed. I put sunflowers. But here we have loofah coming up, and it will climb over the fence, which is a gourd that you dry and make sponges out of, and it's amazing. This is our bean trellis. So they're just getting going, and it will be covered in beans, long beans, like that are really great for heat and humidity and stuff that are more Asian. And then we have the short, like purple beans and stuff. We have carrots that we sowed again, and when they bolt, we'll harvest them, or before, and then plant some more radishes or something. We have been catching mulberries from our neighbor's tree, which we're very grateful for, just an extra little overflow crop. This is our little herb area. We've got rosemary. Again, our lights went down and we'll have to rehang them. But this is kind of like going off of the whole permaculture herb spiral, but we did it like a trellis with herbs that are perennial, and there's some hens and chicks in there, and it's kind of fun. We had to fence it off because the ducks really wanted to lay their eggs on top of it in the lavender, so it kind of got squished. But I think we've cut them off now. Okay, these are wicking beds, which we made, and they have rock. So in the bottom is gravel, and then there's cloth as a membrane, and so it fills with water. That has this pipe with holes drilled in the bottom that goes all the way underneath. So it fills with water up to a certain point, and it has an overflow thing, and then it holds that water through the heat. It's starting to rain. But we have jicama that will go up the back, peppers on this side, eggplants, and then blue butterfly peas that will all go up the back, and we'll keep making this taller and taller until it shades the window so that it helps with our cost of energy inside with keeping the house cool. Here, these are crazy cherries. I cannot wait to, I'm just like so excited to see those full of crazy little cherry tomatoes. Okay, of course we have our marigolds, nasturtiums, a Malabar spinach going up behind an orange tree, or this is a mandarin, right? And then basil. Again, over here, where we used to have radishes and have already harvested them all, that's where we've added our basil. These are potatoes. They will be in dill on the edge. They will be replaced with sweet potatoes. Green onions with some volunteer parsley in there. Again, we do the multi-sow method for that. A storm is coming. The ducks like it. No, nobody. The plants, whatever. Okay, so these are our purple snap peas. They're really good. They're so good. And the boys planted these. Oh my gosh, they're so good. I'm gonna like eat them all. We need to have lunch. Mushroom logs. Oh, this is our duck area. So they're a little house made out of recycled stuff and pond. These logs were last year's, and so this year they're really fruiting. These are some that we just plugged this spring, so they won't fruit till next year. Here we have shiitake. On the fence we have different kinds of oyster. Okay, this is all perennial herbs like lemongrass and marshmallow, mint, more calendula. This actually gets covered in passion flowers. So this is passion fruit vine. We mostly get the flowers. They're really awesome. Hey, duckies. All right, come on. We're gonna do this. Strawberries as a ground cover. Elephant garlic. More fig hydrangeas. This year's food forest, we just covered it in spring. We have peach trees, rhubarb, Lots of flowers and herbs. We'll have cucumbers going up the peach trees like a trellis, so they will climb. We have more cut flowers and herbs. Persimmon trees are in the center. We have more cucumbers, cabbage that didn't do so well, short spring again, but they're holding on. We'll use everything. We did radishes on the outside. Some of them are going to seed. The rest will get harvested. Watermelon in the center that Malachi planted, and tiger melon over there. The kids like to hop on the things and run through it. It's very cute. Again, we're saving seed from everywhere. So Swiss chard, lemongrass, and then this is more loofah, and we're going to use the giant pecan tree to trellis the loofah up. So we'll have a loofah tree. And then this is it's going to be crazy. Okay, this is our strawberry patch, Oklahoma strawberries. They're really good. So we've been harvesting these for market. Malachi eats out of them all the time. Just enjoyable. We planted these last year, so this is their second year really producing. Garlic, lettuce, wilby flowers. So we're using every sunny spot we can. Ducks are following us. We'll get them back in their area. They'll be just fine. This is kale that's gone to seed. We're letting it because we want to save the seed because it made it through the really hot and the really cold season. So it's good for here. These are Jerusalem artichokes, or fartichokes. And they grow into these big sunflower looking things with multiple stems, which is really pretty. But they produce tubers that are really nutritious and a great perennial kind of crop. But horseradish, garlic, basil, peppers, more peppers. So it's gonna get really crazy out here. These tomatoes, we started in January, babied them inside, craziness. They're on both sides. So we had that big storm, we had to replace 10 of them. What we've done in this bed is we started with fava beans as a nitrogen fixing ground cover that grew all winter. And then we've been chopping and dropping them, using them in bouquets. We want to keep the soil covered. And so I know it doesn't look super great, but it's super good. So this is what some of the fava, they didn't produce beans because they were just a ground cover. But they have these pretty flowers and it's really great. So the Roma tomatoes over here, that are some of the earliest ones we started, doing amazing. They're super bushy. We really like to not thin them too much and just let them do their thing and tie them up to the trellis. So more garlic, chocolate mint. We have celery here that we are letting go to seed to save the seed. And we planted a cherry tree last year, but then we moved it to a different spot. And we're getting cherries in Oklahoma. I've never seen them here, but it works. They're crazy sour, but they're so good. Nasturtiums, edible. So this is a bay leaf plant, and I don't know, whatever these things are, just for pretty stuff. But so that was all the way around. These are hostas, which we found out you can actually eat this when kind of like asparagus, when it first comes up in the spring. You could eat the little stems, the shoots that come up, and to fill in the hunger gap, as they say in England or whatever. But so this is the front, our little thing, and so I'm gonna herd the ducks back into their paddock in the backyard. Hey guys. So great. So they eat all the slugs and snails, so that's not an issue. Might have to get the kids to help me. But so this is it. This is the end of our spring garden right before a storm in 6B, Oklahoma, under tornado watch. So we just wanted to show you before it's gone, because we're going to be harvesting stuff and starting to plant our summer crops. And there's like just a lot of overlap in reality, like short spring, long summer, happy animals. Anyways, we're really grateful to share it with you all, and hope that you're inspired and encouraged to do crazy things and have a lot of fun trying to be more resilient in the future. So God bless. Bye.